chase success with Global.Media.com. Let's celebrate it with or without champagne.
Yay, we're here again, Coach David. We're here. Welcome. So let's give people a chance to join us. As you join us, my friends, please tell us who you are. Tell us where you are. Tell us something. That way we know you're here. We're not going to know you're here otherwise. So say hi. Say where you're joining us from. If you got a question, then please ask your question. If you got a comment on the topic, then please feel free. We'd love to hear from you. Coach, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm alive. I'm well. I'm excited. It's an amazing evening. Thank you for all you do, Annie. You're the superhero. You know, I say this all the time.
Yeah, no, you're too kind. So, Oluwatoyin, I see you. Liana, I see you. Michael, I see you as well. Michael says he would join. Greetings. Catch up when I'm done. He's got a meeting. So Liana's all the way in Minnesota. Duluth, is that how you pronounce it? Maybe. Right. Thank you for joining us. Look, welcome, my friends. Another amazing session of Your Unfair Advantage. It's where we learn the simple tricks and skills to create the life we want. That's your unfair advantage, right? I don't know why, I give it a bit of time for you to show up on my StreamYard, my friend. Oh, can you hear me in the first place?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay, I better turn my sound back to where it should be, which is my microphone. Yep, I'm back to my microphone now. So, Coach, talk to us. How are you doing?
I'm excited. I'm happy. I'm excited to be here. It's a lot of learning that we have to do today. A lot of development back to back. I'm excited. Yeah, I see Twin Shanu from London. Thank you for joining us. That's a wonderful sister right there.
So of course, you have videos to show as well today. So it's going to be a proper show, right? It's not just a conversation.
Absolutely. I got PowerPoint slides and also the videos we're going to show. It's going to be an amazing time.
Oh, you got PowerPoint slides as well?
Yes, I do.
Yeah. My friends, you are welcome to come in the studio and share some of your thoughts. The link to join the studio is in the comments. I'll put it up again now. It's on the comment section of the event page. So do join us there and feel free to come and share. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Janice, will see you as well now. I'm glad you're here. This is the link to join the StreamYard studio. So from our comment stream, just copy the link, the StreamYard link, and then place it into your browser and bring in the studio. As I always say, you are welcome to turn your camera off if you're more comfortable that way. That way, if you don't want to be seen, don't let that stop you. Of course, you have to enable your camera and your sound before you get in the studio, right? So join us as and when you're comfortable, when you got something to share with us. Coach, let's begin. I don't know what's going on in the StreamYard thing. I'll ignore that for a second. Let's start the conversation.
All right. Yes, I'm listening.
I guess for a brief introduction, people if you don't know me, then I'll help you. So I published that book behind me, Lessons Learned from COVID. That's my beloved gift to the world, I guess. And all authors are gifted, and they give a gift to the world because you write something that we can all learn from. That's going to last the test of time, right? So I help people to write their books, publish their books, and sell their books. Now, part of my remit for this room is that we're going to launch Coach David's book. I say that with a deep breath because it's a big book. So we're going to launch Coach David's book on the 5th of April. I think is the date we have in mind, right?
Yep.
So this is a 620 odd page book. that you get to buy on the launch day for 99 cents. Imagine that. 600 pages, 99 cents. Wow. You don't get better than that, but that book will tell you about the ecosystems of prophecy.
Absolutely.
What's your prophecy? How do you discover it? How do you work with it? That's what the book that we're launching is about. So do join us on the launch date and buy the book for 99 cents, please. We got friends who can benefit, who want to know about the prophecy, their gift to the world. Then please do invite them as well. But no, there's a long way to go. There's still another 2 weeks or 3 weeks, really. So I'm easy. I say I'm pretty calm until we get there. So, Coach, I finished talking. So you got my mic in the studio. Well, please introduce yourself to our friends, if you don't mind.
All right, my name is Adeoye David Abodrin, or Coach David, as my friends call me. I'm a coach. I'm a life coach with specializations in personality coaching and psychology, which I've done for at least above 30 years. And I'm also a cyber coach because, by virtue of my education, my degrees, both at the first degree and second degree levels, and my work experience, I've helped different organizations of different sizes become much more cyber secure. I've also achieved digital transformation for different organizations. So, along that line, I do coaching now and consulting to help organizations to be much more resilient. And beyond resilience, you go to anti-fragility. Resilience that you're not easily breakable, you're malleable and bendable. Why anti-fragility is that you now leverage on the negativity or the attack to actually spring up in what you're doing. Also, on part of my remit had also been in project and program management and using that to drive enterprise value, which I also did in some of the previous roles and places I've worked. And today we are discussing genius. Are geniuses born or are they made? Can everyone really be a genius? Or some special people who have been created a certain way, and so all others cannot be genius. I need to know that we are still live and people can hear me.
Of course, we're live. There's a big red box in the top right of your screen that says end stream, right? So, whilst that's there, it means we're
No,
live.
no, no. I'm just worried because I can't see my screen when I'm in the full display screen mode. Apologies for that.
It's fine. You're perfectly fine.
All
Dr.
right.
Dr. Vivian, thank you for joining us. As Vivian says, oh my, I'm glad I made it. We're glad you made it too, Dr. Vivian. Thank you for
Yeah,
joining.
Dr. Vivian, you're such a wonderful, unique soul. Thank you for joining us, always encouraging us, always being there. And thank you for the super work you do with brands to make brands succeed. You are a genius. Thank you so much. And before I start today, I have a little bit of a good news. I am a four-time author now, and today uh,
Congratulations.
uh, a few days ago, one of my books literally just hit Amazon again. It's called FinTech Black Box, which talks about the future of money, global money, and the secrets that would drive global finance in the coming days. I really would crave your indulgence to please read or buy your copy on Amazon. Although I would say we're going to launch that one, so Annie and I are working on something. But be that as it may, is a very powerful material about uh, about technology, because all tech will become fintech. All tech will eventually dovetail. So you have to pay for the service or whatever you're doing. So all tech will eventually be directed or dovetailed into fintechs at the end of the day. So if you are interested in understanding how global finance would move and how money would move, you need to, everyone who is alive, if you want to live between now and the next 20, 25, 30, 40, 50 years, you should read that book. It contains significant insights and a lot of brilliant work I've done across different um, parameters. The book is an unusual one. It covers deep, deep. It's going to prepare you for the depth of what's going to hit us. There are two categories of people: those who know what would happen and those who are going to guess through. If you want to move from those who are going to guess through to those who know and they can react in real time, you need to get this book. I'm telling you, I'm telling you. My work in futurism is huge, and I've done significant work in futurism. Fintech is one of the areas I have gone into the future extensively. But today, futurism is not why we're here. As much as I love futurism, we want
Waking up
to.
and knowing exactly what to do.
What did you
Yeah.
say?
It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It's my technology playing up. It's doing funny things. Not me.
All right, all right. So today, how do you unlock your genius zone? Um, and we have a couple of videos, like we said. Is it true that everyone has genius? Just a minute. Uh, um, just like a building plan, you can literally unlock your genius zone. There's an architecture, there's a build, there's a system. Let's say the ground rule. If the system ever stops transmitting online, please send me a WhatsApp message. Thank you. So that I know that I'm off. Or try to ring me immediately. Can you hear me? Hello. Whew. Am I online?
I laugh. Of course, I can hear you. I'm looking at you, so it's all good.
Okay.
It's all
Okay.
good.
Can you still see my screen?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, that's good. So for many people, ever felt that you're built for something bigger? You work hard, you're doing everything you can do, but the bills are much, and you've gone to course after course, taking another developmental course. You have decided to network. You've done everything you can possibly do for your life and your career. Yet things are not moving at the pace at which you want it. Maybe the missing link isn't talent, but your strategy. Um, Genius isn't rare, it's only strategic. There's a whole school of thought around genius that says things like most people fail because they don't have ability. That's not true. It is lack of strategy. Because people never discover their genius zone. And genius is not about doing more, it's about doing more of you. There are a lot of people who are geniuses, they don't even know how. Everything that was created perfect under normal conditions. Your eyes see clearly, your voice speaks clearly. Every part of your functional being is genius. I mean, anyone who's a medical doctor, Dr. Vivian will testify to the magnificent, wonderful, exciting way we're created. There is a genius system in every human being. I mean, when a woman is pregnant, food does not go to where the baby is, and baby does not go to where food is. Complex, interesting, wonderful design. What about your leg? You don't even know the technology by which your leg works. You are a genius. I've studied the human architecture and architecture. Permit me to use those two words to describe it. It's a wonder. You are a wonder. And the only problem is that you don't know. You don't know how. The next few slides will help us to know how. There are three hidden laws of genius. Number one, the law of original energy. Your genius flows where your natural energy thrives. The laws of genius, actually about 15 of them, but there's no time to go through the 15. Let's just do three. The second one is law of simplicity. That genius makes things easy, and simplicity unlocks complexity. Once it's too complex, then it starts being genius. The third one is the law of aligned impact. When you're in alignment, your impact increases exponentially. Let me play. There's a video that I did for on the three laws of genius. I thought Emmy could play, but we had some. So this is on unlocking the three hidden laws of genius. Can you all see? Can you still see my screen?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. So can you hear the audio?
No, 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 no. So yeah, you have to do present, right?
Hold on. Can you hear the audio? Not yet.
No. So I think you have to do present, so I can present your screen. So you said to present your screen here.
Okay. So can you do that for me?
All right. Which video are we going with? Oh, this.
No, don't worry. Let me do it. I'll do it from here. That's what I'm doing. You should be able to see my here my oh just a minute. Hold on. I think I made a mistake there. Stop. Present. Share screen. Share screen. Yeah, the audio is on. Entire screen. Oh, I see what happened. It went off by itself. Okay. Okay, it's all good off. So
Okay. Right.
now,
Okay. So now you're on screen. All right. There you go.
okay. So can I? Okay, let me just start from the beginning again. Why is it not playing now? Oh, sorry about this. Okay.
Now hit play.
I've observed that most people believe genius is about talent, intelligence, or sheer hard work. But history tells us something different. The greatest minds, Da Vinci, Einstein, Tesla, Jobs, didn't just work harder. They operated differently because they understood something others never see. I, David Adeoye, having studied human psychology for over 30 years, I can say this, that genius isn't a trait, it's a pattern, a system, a set of laws that unlocks extraordinary results. Let me show you the 3 hidden laws of genius. Law number 1, the law of original energy. You were designed to thrive in a particular space. Your best work happens when your natural strengths and curiosity fuel your momentum. The problem, most people spend their entire lives forcing themselves into spaces that drain them. Law number 2, the law of strategic simplicity. Genius isn't about complexity, it's about clarity. The best ideas in the world are simple yet profound. Apple revolutionized technology with just one button. Einstein transformed physics with just one equation. True genius isn't adding more, it's distilling what matters. Law number 3, the law of aligned impact. When you operate in your genius, your presence alone moves things forward. You don't need to push, you become the force that pulls opportunities towards you. The question isn't, am I a genius? The real question is, am I activating my genius the right way? To unlock your unique energy, reach out to your unfair advantage coach, David Adeoye Abadunrin.
Okay, well, let's discuss that. I've stopped sharing a little bit. Annie, where are you? I can't see you on the screen.
I'm here. I'm always here. I'm always here. Let's bring
All
up
right,
my two.
Michelle, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
So,
There's
yeah,
more. There's more of us in the audience, right?
yeah, Roxana,
One sec.
how are
One
you?
sec.
Good to see you.
So
I'm good. How
let's
are
bring up
you?
Sandra.
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good to
I
see
see
you.
Lillian. Lillian is here as well. Welcome, Lillian. Glad you're
Oh,
here. I
welcome,
say Queen
Lillian.
Leah. They call it Princess Leia. You're Queen Leia to me, right? They can
Yes.
try it like so. Actually, Queen Leia says genius is simplicity.
No.
Yes.
I'm
Thank you for
online.
that.
So
Thank you so much.
And
So,
who
whoever's
else?
trying to tell me welcome. It's good.
Yeah,
welcome.
we'll come to you in a second, my friend. That's
Yes.
Roxana. I
So,
said
so the first,
Verena is here as well, and Nikki is here as well. I met Nikki yesterday. She's got several zones of genius, coach. Nikki
wow.
has several areas of expertise.
Oh, that's
You know,
cool.
I'm glad she's here. You know, she
That's
does that.
cool.
She's
That's
writing
cool.
several books. Is she writing a book? She's more into, I guess, empowerment, coaching, branding,
Oh,
and
wow.
areas that the woman's a genius at. So,
Oh, wow.
interesting conversation. If you want to join
Wow.
us in the studio, my friends, take the link from the comments and join us. Otherwise, if you scroll up, you find that there's the link to join the stage is here. You know,
Yes.
so coach wants to tell us the information. I want us to talk about it. That's
Yes,
different.
yes, yes, yes.
We're gonna talk.
I just want us to talk about it. So the first one, the first law, the first hidden law of genius is the law of energy, original energy. Everyone has some original energy. This is deep-rooted psychology and is also supported in the Bible. If you are out of sync with your original energy, you will have a lot of problems. I am trying to not put the Bible as the forward-leading thought, but I can show you this same. Oh, what are we today's topic here? Finding how to discover your genius and be a genius in life and work. So, number one is to discover your predominant energy. And energy is of different types, different classifications and forms. For example, there's some people that talk about meridian energy. Meridian energy is the time of the day you were born. Is it night or day? We just find out that people are two different types if you classify them in that classification of energy of the day, night meridian. Some people are more active in the night, some people are more active in the day. There's some people that once the sun goes down, their geniuses or their capacities seem to come up by observation. And some, as the sun goes up, their capacities come up. There are some people, they just shut down once it's 7 p.m. We call them chickens in Africa. They go to bed. There's nothing you can do about it. And they were made that way for a reason. Now, if you are a day person or a day meridian person, you better arrange your work and your predominant, most important work around the day. Even within the 12 hours of sunlight, there is your best 3 or 4 hours. It's called your most effective sub-quarter meridian. Organize your work around that time that is most significant. Some people, as the sun is coming up, just before it gets overhead, that's their most brilliant moment. Please do your most important work then. And leave less important work to the time of the day, to the balance of the meridian where you belong. Let's say you are early morning meridian, which is generally between 6 and 11 a.m.-ish, or 7 and 10 a.m.-ish. Just try and organize all of your work around that time, most important work, and then leave after your break, leave the less important work, and then you can wind down again because you must rest. By the way, genius is not stress. Genius is not staying awake. Genius is not being a nuisance for your health. So say because I'm a genius, my brain is always working. No, you have to have time for rest. Part of being a genius. I think that's law number 5, but we're not getting there today because after God worked for 7 days, he rested. So who are you, his creation, who was fashioned in his image and likeness, not to rest? If God rested, please, you have to rest too. So that's the first type of meridian. There are other meridian times. Some people classify meridians by body parts. Some people say they are head meridian people. They are people that all of their powers of, all of their energies, Yeah, we said your unfair advantage, how to discover your genius. So all of their energies are around the head region, their eyes, their ears, their mouth. That's their strongest coordinating power. Some people say that there's hand meridian people or hand gifted people. These are people that are very gifted with their hands. They don't need to learn any craft. They just start doing it and it comes to them instinctively or intuitively. This is a very powerful meridian. All right. I was born in the morning but love the late night hours. Was born on Friday 13 in an elevator with a full moon and Aries with a fire sign. That's fine. Oh, that's a lot. Okay, I have my reservations around the signs, around the astrological signs. I have some issues with them because there's some part of that I feel can be misleading, but we're going to get there. But I was born in the morning but love the late night hours. Yeah, it's possible. It's possible there's that cross meridian, but psychologists have found out that the time of the day when a person is born, their meridians are close to that. That's what the predominant body of knowledge sees. Now, there is number 2, like I was saying, that there are people that are leg type meridian people, meaning that they are people that love to exercise and work and connect. And then there are people who are the brain type people. I said that about the head and all of that. So there are different kinds of classifications of meridians. There's another category that talks about introversion and extroversion. Again, I have reversals for these things, meaning that I generally do well when I'm alone. This is not introversion, it's actually intraversion. Intraversion, the best version of me is intra, meaning when I'm alone and I reflect to myself, the best of me comes out. There's extraversion, which means when I am exerting energy to the outside, when I'm extending energy, outside, when I'm extending energy outside, I do well. That is extra or extroversion. Now, this is not a weakness plan. Some people say because I'm introverted, I don't like talking to people. Like I always say, Michael, good to see you. Welcome. It's madness. That's not true. It is insufficient motivation that is making you feel you are intro or extra. If I give you motivation, we can temporarily change that meridian. But the wisdom, yes, but the wisdom of life is that you are able to cope whichever place we put you, but you need to know your best. What is your strength in terms of your genius zone, your genius particular personality? What are the conditions for excellence that you have as a person? That is what we are trying to look for. I can go on and on. There are people that until they have spoken out, if you see people reading during exams in school, there are people that until they have said that thing out or they thought about it out, until they have said it out, they do not have a comprehension of that material. And there are people that they don't need anybody talking. They just want to sit with the material and assimilate it to themselves. There are people that they need to draw. There are people that for them to assimilate information, they need to experience kinesthetic people. There are people that visual is diagram, auditory is audio. Now, based on the context, the kinds of meridians we have, the list is inexhaustive. And you must do the work of discovering based on which one are you, based on different model. There's something also called Herman Brain Dominance Indicator that talks about whether it is the left meridian of your brain or the right meridian of your brain that's more active, and which one is predominantly ruling you per time. What is the key? Don't forget, the key is not to know the jargon. The key is to find yourself in the midst. I mean, you need to find your genius in a world that is talent saturated. There's what talent, talent. Everyone needs to find their genius zone, is my message. You need to find your genius energy. You have a predominant energy type or energy moment when you do well. Find that energy moment. Even within church, let me say this, because I see prophetess on the call. Even within church, there are people that don't like praise and worship. They just like the time of study of the word. Go check them out. They are brain type of people. They are meditative people. They are people that they like to take information in. Their energy is processing. Their energy is processing. There are those who like dancing and music. They are leg type and hand type people. They like dancing. For them, when you say church is fun, it's because a lot of dancing. The guy who likes the time of study of the word or reading of intellectual material, in quotes, also likes to dance, but one interesting or more. What's the bigger point? It's your job to find your energy zone. And please, I didn't say your strength. I said your energy zone. Energy is life. When are you most active? When does your energy feel at its peak? When does your energy flows burst out naturally the most? Not just what are your strengths, because something may be your strength and there's no energy to do it. Energy is what you should look for, because inside energy is the power for action. Inside energy is the power or the bias to act. Once there's no energy, there's a drain. So make a list as you're listening to me. What is your predominant energy, especially original energy? The phrase original energy means that there is adulterated energy or artificial energy. So you could get temporary energy or motivation. If they give you money, for example, if you're introverted, you suddenly become extroverted. But let me tell you, you will revert back when the money factor is withdrawn to that your natural energy zone? What is your predominant energy zone? And people wear their energy. People carry their energy. Their energy is everywhere with them. And this is very genuine. For those who are believers or Christians, you will see Peter demonstrate a certain kind of energy pattern. His energy profile is same. Apostle Peter, from beginning to end. Peter will speak first, whether he's right or wrong, and is open to correction. The moment Jesus Christ disappeared, Peter said, I go a fishing. I'm sorry for the scriptural example. The moment they said, who is the Christ? Peter spoke first. You hear Peter speak first many, many, many times. As the Holy Spirit landed on people, he began to explain to people what it was. That temperament or that energy type was needed to carry the gospel at that time. When God needed to reach the Gentiles, who were much more intellectual and the more PhD holders, he went to Paul. None of the 12 disciples or apostles had it. He had to go and get Paul, who had the capacity for rigorous intellectual debate. Because Peter said later that some things that Paul is talking about are too complex. In fact, many cases, from intellectual rigor, Paul was rebuking Peter, the leader apostle of the time. He said, look, that's not the Bible. But you see, Peter later said that there are some things that Paul talks about that's too hard for understanding. That's because Paul, and when God needed to document the New Testament, because almost 1/3, if not half of New Testament, are Pauline epistles. So when it came to the ability to write, God Almighty had respect for Apostle Paul, who although was not part of the 12, the fishermen and all the people around him, he had to go for someone who was a PhD holder. So your energy will show even in the tasks that you enjoy, even in how God would use you. God uses people in line with their energy. I can give you lots of examples. He will strengthen your weakness, but he uses people based on their energy. Abraham is a pioneering energy. The guy starts things he doesn't understand. He will leave home before he's called. He began to follow a God that was unknown. I can go with you character by character in the scripture, and you see the energy intelligence play out. And this is from the Almighty God's perspective. I have the same evidence in Islam. I'm first of all, I'm a believer, I'm a Christian, and I pastor, but beyond that, I'm a student of different schools of persuasion because I want accuracy. We have schooling systems that don't do anything about energy intelligence. We don't teach children to understand their energy. We don't teach them to understand the time of the day when they assimilate the best. It's a whole curriculum. Observe yourself, write it down. It starts from your parents observing you, observing your most active meridians, and putting that together and giving you a blueprint of your life for success. And so you have many adults who are misplaced and people are looking for money and they are burning out. So that's the first rule of genius. What is your energy zone, your energy? When do you feel the most energy? Number 2 is simplicity. It won't be complex. It won't be complex. It won't be hard for you to do. It won't be complex. It won't be hard for you to do. It won't be complex. It won't be hard for you to do. It won't be complex. It won't be hard for you to do. It will be simple. Genius would always find very easy answers to complex problems. What everybody thinks is very complex, genius would always bring in very easy answers. It is that simple. If you are a genius, you don't come and use your genius. Hello?
Really? Water.
Hello? Hello? Annie, we're hearing your voice.
Are you in the day? Sorry.
Hello, Annie.
Sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
Yeah. So the simplicity of the display is a proof of genius. The simplicity of the capacity is a proof of genius. The third thing about the hidden laws of genius is that genius make impacts. Where are you making impact? What are the things that are impactful in your life? Write it down. What are the moments of impact? Write it down. Take notice of those times. Your genius is not far from those high impact moments. Whenever the impact is high, look for genius. Whenever the impact is low, search for other things. And it's so simple. Just keep writing down the moment of impact. What are the most highly impactful moments of your life? Write it down. In those moments are your genius points. And here's what you'll be shocked about. you would find out most likely that generally your high impact moments always land around the same items, or you can trace similarities or similitude to the moment of your impact. And like I said, God is in the business of using the accurate things in the accurate position or accurate places. All right, let me hear from the audience. What comments do we have? Yes, yes, I love. Michelle says, I've learned to love myself, set and enforce boundaries, and I must limit who I allow access to my energy and whose energy. Yes, yes, yes. Impact. You must be careful about whose impact, about whose impact that you align with and who comes into your field, because energy cannot be destroyed, but as we say in physics, but it can be converted from one form to another. And even in spiritual persuasion, he that walks with the wise shall be wise, a companion of fools shall perish. I thought he that walks with the foolish, he that walks with the wise shall be wise. I thought he that walks with the foolish will be foolish. No, the Bible rushes to the end of the conversation. The person will perish. So if you mix with the wrong energy, you can perish. You have you have to pay attention. You have, yes, I can feel others' emotion and energy even without them speaking. Yes, yes, yes. Because thank you. That's the point we're making. Because energy and emotions, again, back up. Emotion is energy in motion. That's emotion. Emotion is energy in motion. Whatever emotion you feel, the energy of that emotion will come upon you. If you are feeling happy, if the emotion you are feeling is happiness, the happy energy will come upon you. That's how to rewire your internal being for results. The feeling you are having is the energy you would have. So when you hear phrases in the Bible like "let this mind be in you," or "be in joy," or "set your mind on things above," it means you own the control valve of the thoughts and imaginations and emotions you are running in your mind, because that is the energy you will have. If you keep thinking hate or evil or destruction, you will act it out. Your energy, your muscles are connected to the predominant internal thought or processes running through you by energy. So, emotion is energy in motion. That's emotion. Energy that is now in motion. That's it. Yeah, my best manifestations come in solitude. Yes, because your energy is introversion or intraversion, which means you will rather be within yourself to consider matters before you bring it out. Now, let me say this: many people are not happy with their genius zone, so they want to find another genius zone. No, please. Contentment is the first rule. There's gold inside you. There's amazing capacity inside you. In fact, you're fearfully and wonderfully made. What God has made you to be, the kind of energy you have inside you, is huge and remarkably powerful. Please sit with it and groom your own genius. You have it within you, and the world is waiting for your genius. Yeah. So when you're in solitude, yes, 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 yes. There's actually again Bible verses and many religious understandings will also agree with this. If you are in the religious setting, or if you're a Christian like me, in that moment of solitude, God is able to speak and all of those kind of things. All right. Okay, I've taken the comment. I think I can go on now. Are there neurodivergent individuals that take many of what you mentioned and they learn to live with a complex entanglement? Yes, because we remember we said there is original energy. So there's original energy and there can be an entanglement. I said that earlier. That's why we say there is the actual original energy. And then there's the adaptation for survival that happens where you master other energy types. I'm trying so much not to narrow down on one type of energy profile because there are a lot of them. The list of energy profiles that we have are not less than 30. And at least I have seen about 15 of them in the Bible. It's very powerful. The meridians and the energy types and profiles, they are different types. But at the end of the day, find yours. What is your own personal meridian? What is your own personal energy? That is what is most important. All right. Yeah. When your faith is in believing, yes, yes. But when you are alive, that's God. Yes, yes, I agree. I agree. Their faith is boosted by the experiences you've had and your own personal encounters where God has kept you alive. Sometimes I feel like I'm too smart. Yeah, it's a legitimate feeling. But so words are not meanings. So when you say too smart, it depends on the context. So because what you mean may not be what I'm interpreting and all of that. All right, let me go on. So those are the three laws we consider. Don't forget them: the law of your energy, the law of genius, and the law of impact. Sorry, the law of energy, the law of simplicity, that genius is always simple, and that that thing will be happening simply. Your genius is very simple, it's not complex. That's number two. Number three is that whatever is impactful, and if it's continuous and you notice a pattern there, that is your zone of genius. And that's a law. And the first one is the law of energy. What gives you energy? Where is energy for you? That's where you find genius. Not what you can do, not what you're brilliant at, not what you are talented at, what energy. You can be talented at something and you don't feel energy for it. It's going to be difficult for you to be a genius in that place.
See, there's a comment from I'm trying to say there's a comment from Lillian. It says, "My energy is when I want to solve a pressing issue."
That's it. Now, if you notice that it continues like that, then it means that your zone of genius may be problem solving, especially when it's personal problem solving or a close relatives problem. So maybe you are the problem solver of the family, or the problem solver, or you're the number one personal problem solver, problem solving coach, whatever you want to call it. But there is for you in that zone. If that's where your genius or your ingenuity comes to play, there's something for you in that place. You should pause to investigate it. I can show you, like I said, in different medieval books and materials, different of the scriptural script. I can show you this. I mean, just look at Joseph. He was a middle-level manager from his teenage years. Middle-level manager from his teenage years. It will appear very strong that his father, he will go and tell his father the ration that the brothers were feeding the sheep. That, there's supposed to be 3% haze, 5% carbohydrate, 3% protein. That they are not feeding the animals where, and his brothers were angry with him because there's a manager inside him. When they got to Potiphar's house, he became a manager. When they got to the prison, he became a manager. Eventually, what happened to his life and his future? He was going to manage the whole of the feeding system of Egypt. In fact, what happened was that God wanted him to learn how to manage scarcity. That's why he went to manage criminals who were on death row, because by the time he had that skill set, on coming out, he knows how to manage scarcity, which is part of his curriculum vitae. Every time he was somewhere, there was energy for management around Joseph. The same kind of energy you see in his life was energy about dreams. So your genius has always been there with you, but you leave all of that and then go to school to go and learn something else that's not in the zone, because there may be no curriculum for your genius. That's the problem. The schooling system was Abraham Maslow's order, and that order may not have your genius. I can show you about Moses. I can show you about Isaiah. I can show you all of them. There are the indicators that their energy was their zone of genius, and that alignment was what even God used specifically in using them as his vessels on the earth. All right, let's go to the next slide. And I have another video for us, but let's go to the next slide first of all. Yeah, let me see what I can share my screen again. Can you see my screen?
Which video do you want to hear from Roxana and Michael? Which video do you want to play next?
Okay, the next video, just a minute. The next video is
the man and the woman, or the other one?
I think is the man and the woman, the genius zone. Let me confirm that. The genius zone. Just a minute. Okay. The genius zone, the man and the woman.
Okay, let's play it then. Okay.
Picture this. Two people walk into a room. One of them struggles, overthinks, second guesses everything. The other moves effortlessly, making decisions, creating impact, drawing people in without even trying. Same environment, completely different results. What's the difference? One is operating inside their genius zone, the other is trapped outside it. Your genius zone is the place where three forces come together. What you do effortlessly. The things that come so naturally to you, you assume everyone can do them, but they can't. This is where your hidden power lies. What excites you deeply? Not just what you enjoy, but what gives you energy instead of draining it. Passion isn't just about love, it's about sustainability. What creates massive value for others? The world doesn't just reward what you're good at, It rewards what solves a problem, moves people, or changes things. When you align these three, everything shifts. Work stops feeling like work, success stops feeling random. Your genius becomes a gravitational force. Coach David Adeoye says, are you operating in your genius zone, or are you still fighting against yourself? Are you a victim, or are you operating within your unfair advantage zone? That's the real question.
The real question. Yeah, that's the real question. Let me just show you so that let's have it static on the screen because I want to discuss this. I'll spend a few minutes discussing it. Just a minute. You're going to see it shortly. Okay. Why? Okay, sorry about that. Yep. Okay, you can see my screen now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you can see this is the presentation. Yep, you see that what you do effortlessly. Please underline effortlessly. Everyone should underline effortlessly. What you do effortlessly. Number two, what excites you deeply. Because you do it effortlessly and it does not excite you deeply, then you're not in your genius zone. But it must excite you deeply. And number three, it must create the most value for others or the most optimal value for others. If it doesn't create value, but you do it effortlessly and it excites you, then you're not a genius. The world is not going to buy, nobody's going to give you the genius medal. If it creates value for people, but it's stressful for you, like your job, you do it with effort and it excites you or does not excite you. Once it does not provide value, there is no need there. What you do effortlessly that excites you and creates most value, that's your zone. The zone is the general area. What helps you to pinpoint? What helps you to pinpoint it? What helps you to pinpoint it? What helps you to pinpoint it is that you are the only one who can do it, and lesser people can do it. Lesser persons can do it. So the zone is what we have here. The fourth factor is that you are the only person or a few persons, you're part of the few persons that can do that stuff. Once you locate that, then that is your pinpoint genius environment or compound. But the zone is what you do effortlessly, it excites you deeply, and it creates the most value for others. I would again take contributions from the floor. We have one more video, and then we round this up.
Hold on. I think that slide it's not. We can talk about that slide for sure.
Okay.
Michael, what's your take? Have you discovered that thing that you do effortlessly that impacts the world in a humongous way, and that I guess you love doing that resonates with you?
Okay, can you hear me?
Loud
Yeah,
and clear.
Michael, I hear you, brother.
Okay, fantastic. Good to see you, Coach David. How do you
Yeah.
say your name? Your last name and your middle name. Your middle name. How do you say it?
Adeoye.
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 Yes, that's it.
Okay,
Adeoye.
Adeoye.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, okay. All right. I'll try and remember that. Um, Considering I was going to ask you about the three forces because I was not going to, I wasn't getting it, but the slide was perfect, just like you indicated. I'm
Yeah.
a visual learning person.
All right.
I learn visually, language. I try to grasp as much as I possibly can and understand, but if I have seen it visually and I can understand what you're talking about, I can pair it together.
Yeah.
And that's what makes me remember, and that's what gives me my genius is basically being able to um,
Mm-hmm.
assimilate information visually and
Mm-hmm.
uh, put things together that way.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I agree with most of what you said. Doing anything that you can do effortlessly,
Mm-hmm.
although I can only assume that that gets better the more you do it, then it becomes effortlessly. And then there's also, it has to excite you. And if you find it exciting, that probably has to come first. Something that
Yeah.
has to, that has to come first.
Yeah.
And then you're going to have to be able to do it effortlessly
Yeah.
in that order. And then
Yeah.
the last order is it creates most value for people.
Yeah.
So, um, and that is how you discover your genius
Yeah.
as a result.
Yeah.
And it's not necessarily true that you're going to be the only one who can do it. Yes, there are other people who can do it, but
Yeah.
for some reason or another, you're one that can authentically make a change
Yeah.
in people's lives
Yep.
because of what you do.
Yep.
And I think that is the most pivotal thing that matters the
Yep.
most
Yep.
in terms of identifying your genius.
Yep.
Um, so you've agreed with everything I've said, and
Absolutely.
I have no further I have nothing else really to offer.
Yeah. I'd just like to
That is,
add. I'd
mm,
just like to add. I'd just like to add that when you're in the zone of your genius, you still have some work to do to locate the exact pinpoint of where you are now extra unique, and that takes some time to pin down. So
mm,
you're very correct again. That that was the earlier point you made around the fact that when you now do it repeatedly, some hidden success that's unusual to you will now show up. But many people just stay in the zone and they are comfortable because you're already very successful in the zone. When you're in the zone,
mm,
it's a very sweet spot. And then when you get to the point where it's only a few things, a few of you that can do those pinpoint things, then it's not getting much more serious. But when it gets to the point when you now become the only person that can do that thing, here's what genius studies have said
mm,
that for the most talented and the most gifted people, it takes some effort and some years before they're able to locate that pinpoint thing that creates the most value for others.
mm,
They can find what they do effortlessly, what excites them deeply, and there's only a few persons that can do it like them. But what will
mm,
create the utmost big value for other people?
mm.
Some have said that majority of geniuses only find it after about 20 years, and
Now,
some
I've got
some th- some 30.
I've got a question for you because even that long period, after a long period of time, you
Yeah.
find your genius. Then there's also the question of,
No, no,
okay,
no.
now that you found your genius, do you
That creates the most value.
that creates the most value? Okay.
Yes, it's the
Now
factor
the
of the most
question,
value. The factor of the most value that takes a for others that takes a very long time.
okay, the factor of most value for others, that means others are the ones who are going to value your work. But you, in turn, are not someone who's going to pinpoint and value your own work. You're just going to do it. So you do not care whether it is valuable or not, or what kind of value you attach
Thank
to it.
you. Thank you.
You
This is
do
the
care about the fact that it propagates a human being forward as
thank you.
opposed to propagating them
Thank you.
backwards.
Thank you. Thank you. This is why there are many creative geniuses or creative people are very genius, but they don't care about money. And that's why Pablo Picasso was never rich in his time.
That makes a lot of sense because
Yeah,
he
yeah, yeah,
enjoyed
yeah,
what
yeah.
he did, and
Oh
he
yeah.
only did it
Oh,
because he
oh,
enjoyed it
oh
with a
yeah.
passion, with a passion
Yeah,
great
yeah,
enough,
yeah.
great
I
enough
met,
that it
yeah, yeah,
overcame money.
yeah, yeah,
Mm,
yeah, yeah. In fact, I've met creative people that are very
mhm,
creative. But when it comes to the
mhm,
ergonomics and economics of it, they failed woefully
mm, mm,
because they are not thinking about the market side, and
mhm,
that is the core difference between advertising and marketing communications and creativity when you're trying to use it to solve a business problem. There's a time frame.
mhm,
You can't do a brief for 10 years. Because
mm,
Pablo Picasso was drawing a painting for 10 years. Because
mm,
for a brand, there is a brand war. There is a customer satisfaction issue. There are
mhm,
timelines. There is time to market. There's route to market. Because of that, the value that you create, because this question was what I tried to answer in my role as chief value officer at Trekker Group, which is like largest marketing comms group in West Africa at the time.
mhm,
So the value, your talentedness and everything is to yourself, but the value it has in the market is
mhm,
where the problem is. That is where you either determine I want to be Pablo Picasso, I want to do only one painting for the rest of my life, and I don't care what you feel.
mm, mm.
Versus someone that's a creative director who must solve a brand problem. There's time to that thing, man. You must do it. Must do it in that time, and no nonsense, no rush, no. Make sure that it happens at that time, that kind of thing. Yeah. Thanks for that. That's very, very powerful. So if you're going to be a genius that will be economically empowered, then you have to think about creating value most for others. And there's a whole 6 or 7 weeks conversation around value intelligence, how to create value, because value has 4 legs. You have to identify what is value, then you have to create it, then you have to be able to measure it accurately, and then reward it. I say it again, value
Okay.
in terms of
Do
creativity.
you do you think that a genius actually goes about thinking about that? I mean, do you think that
Yes,
they must,
yes,
or do you
yes,
think
yes,
that they
yes,
that they should
yes.
focus on just their genius? What do you think?
No, 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 no. They must think about value. Otherwise, they cannot capitalize and maximize their genius. They
There's no
must
point
think.
to there's no point of the genius if it doesn't impact anyone.
But they
Yes,
don't
impact.
they don't care.
Yes, they
They
don't.
don't
But
care
but
about the
but
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 they
company.
have
but,
to
but,
care.
we're
Yeah.
trying to get. But we're trying to get them to care. This is
Mm.
why creative people are suffering. There are many creative people all over the world. I coach creative people, and it's a big problem. You must put value. Being creative is not being stubborn with a torn jeans and enfant terrible, disturbing the entire community with your drum or your guitar. You can't pay your school fees. You can't pay your children's school fees because you are creative. You're just creative. No, no, no. You have to value engineer it so that you are able. You see, David was a guitarist in the Bible, but that guitar ensured that King Saul could be normal again. Saul was running mad until they would bring the musician David. That's value there. At the end of the day, man was created a valuable being. All creatives need to think value. In fact, this is the reason why advertising as a business model is in problem today. It's a value conversation. Agencies are dying because of value. It's a big problem. So you are right that many majority of creatives don't think that way, but we need to make them to start seeing this part.
But don't you think that they'll lose their creativity as a result?
No, 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 they won't. It will not become channeled and become more useful.
Okay.
Your genius must have a
You've
purpose.
been at it for a while, so I'm going to assume that you have the correct answers. But definitely, time will tell, and I'll be back to ask you again.
All right, so I'm going to go
Mark
to
my words, David.
Dr. Roxana. We're going to come to you next. Michelle says, it's a long one, Michelle. She says, I respect your alignment with the Bible and God's word. Essentially, she says, now, wrestle with this. What if the Bible isn't God's words directly, but rather an anthology of human perception? A collection of writings, to those trying to make sense of their experiences, just as we do today. Could we take the idea further? In 2,000 years, could the books, memoirs, and collective wisdom we are creating now become the Bible for the future generations?
It's
Because
possible.
in that
It's
case, we are no.
You see, philosophies. Remember, I said I didn't want to limit my conversation with the Bible or any of the religious persuasions. Although the Bible is my own personal persuasion, and I believe it's the written word of God. Can everyone hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, I believe it's the written word of God. I personally follow the Bible, but I've studied life and I've managed creativity and genius at the center point. I mean, even if you're an artist, you can work with me. So I'm not bogged down to just the Bible because I see that life and the Bible corroborate each other. If you say there are other collaborations, yeah, we can discuss them. I'm open to the knowledge and the learning. The question of my faith, if you're trying to convince me to come your direction, that's another conversation for later. And I use the example of the Bible because it's strong persuasion of many. I can also use secular. I just used Pablo Picasso. He was not a rich man in his day. It was after he died, he began to win awards for his paintings and sculptures after he was dead. And there are many people like that. But Bach Andel just did very amazing work in music. It was after he died that musicians say, wow, what composition. But in his life, he was just the average guy on the street. So, creative genius that is not channeled for impact can be a burden to the bearer of the creativity.
Look, Dr. Vivian says absolutely. He measured the value of killing Goliath. Yeah, there's a
Thank
conversation
you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. There is the value because David, I'm sorry for I don't know who's mentioned the Bible. Let's take it as a story. Let's take the Bible. Let's take that David and Goliath now as let's unpack it like a historical fact. You see, David was a master craftsman, was a musician. Number two, he was a skilled slingsman. David said, the lion came and the bear came and took an animal and was running away. He said, with this sling, I stopped it, and with my bare hands, I collected it. You, this Goliath, you are a stationary object. You are piecemeat for me. Piecemeal, I'm paraphrasing. The meaning of that is that if I could use my sling as an artist, because I practice my craft, to stop a moving target who was traveling at 120 kilometers per hour after carrying its prey, you are a stationary target. I have skill. Until I find my genius zone, I'm going to use this and you're going to come down. That's what he told him. The second thing is that what was going on there was a lot of development. So, as a genius, you also must have belief in your gifts, and that belief will have come from personally doing the thing over several thousands of hours. If you're a genius at something anyway, you do it effortlessly, like Michael said earlier. David knew that he had mastered the sling. In fact, when they gave him the garment of Saul, he could not move. And was, I'm sorry, we're using that, could not move, he could not even lift his hand. So he said, give me the sling. That's what I know how to use. What are the things that are effortless, 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 effortless? You don't know fluff, no stress, no issues. You do it easily. No fluff, no paparazzi, no unnecessary noise making. It just happens. Any makes people famous. He's a genius at it. Any does bestsellers times 12 is not a problem for him. If you want to have bestseller times 250, any is very conservative. Say, I promise only one because I believe only one. But any can do 250 bestsellers, best-selling categories. That's me trying to. But seriously, any is pretty good at making people famous. He's a genius at it. He's done it repeatedly. Because of that, he knows what to do. Even if something were to be your genius zone, have you used it to create value? If it doesn't create value for people at an impactful level, you are doing a hobby. I hope
I think you've explained that pretty well. So I'll come back to you on the ease of doing anything, that you're a genius or not. Let's go to Dr. Roxana. I'd love to hear her take because she's a maths genius. Yeah,
all right.
I wonder what her take is in terms of, to get to where she is. You're on mute. You're on mute.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, perfectly.
And I just want to remind you that we're driving, so my device might be shaking. But I just thank you so much, Coach. I kind of learned a lot from you.
Thank you so
But
much,
one
Coach.
thing, I just have one line. If anything is supposed to be your inner genius, you will not be sitting somewhere and enjoying it. You need to get out of your comfort zone. Use whatever it is that is your inner genius and improve the world. That is
Yes.
one thing I think about. So
Hmm.
if you claim you have an inner genius, which I think everybody does have, and out of maybe weakness or fear, we don't want to speak. We don't want to get out of the our comfort zone. But if you can do that, then we'll go and discover how we can use that inner genius to help the world. And if you can actually do that to help the world, you will be surprised how the inner genius can give you money. You can be a businessman or not, but people can pay you for what you know that will help their life. So the question of having an inner genius, it's not just going to be everybody because you want to be a businessman. You just want to be something. Do you actually know that? whatever you can do, you can get up and do when you're sleeping, when you love it, you can get up and do it. So let me answer the question. Have you discovered your inner genius? Yes, I have. I know that I love teaching, but I know I can teach in so many other different ways. I can
Mm,
teach mathematics. I can also teach people about digital products. I like
mm,
digital products. There are things I like in the world. I want to know how to do them. And you
mm,
may not be a genius the first day you start, but if you keep at it, after some time, you become a genius. And
mm,
so, geniuses are sometimes not made. You prepare to be a genius. You walk through it. You walk towards that. You read the books, especially I like finance books, and
mm,
then you walk towards that, and that's how you become a genius.
mm,
And so, geniuses are not born. They are not just a human being is not born to be a genius. They walk towards it. If you see
mm,
these millionaires, they work so hard. The top 1% um, actually have seven kinds of jobs. They call maybe you can, passive income, something like that. They
mm,
work so hard to make this money so that they can actually sleep and their money will be coming in. And
mm.
so, if you have a genius in you, people should not be on their comfort zone. You get out in the world and use your genius or geniuses to help the world. But I understood what you're saying, and I understand anyway. I kind of I like what you're discussing, but this is my line. That's what I wanted to say. I'm traveling, and we are many, so I'm sorry for the noise. Okay.
Mm,
Any? I haven't been around for some time, but I'm on spring break, so you know that.
No,
mm.
you're doing great, and your family, they're doing great.
Oh
We can't
yeah,
hear
oh
them, so
yeah.
it's all right. It's all
Promise.
We
right.
got a family tour, so
Yeah.
Have a
Enjoy.
safe,
No, thank you
have a
so
safe,
much.
have a safe trip. Thank you for
oh
coming,
yeah,
Prof.
thank you.
I
And I'm
appreciate
leaving.
it.
I just want to make sure I put in a line there before I get out.
Thank you so much,
Also,
Prof. I
Thank
appreciate you.
you.
Thank you
I
so much.
appreciate you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, bye.
Bye bye. Thank you.
In
Wow,
the
as
last
far
bit
as
that Roxana was talking about, was that philanthropy? Philanthropists? That's what we were referring to?
no, no, she was saying that you need to
yeah.
grow. You need to grow your application of your gifts. That whichever gift you have, you need to grow in applying the gifts in different ways. And like I said, the study of geniuses show that it takes some years, some good years. I mean, in between Steve Jobs' breakthrough products and the day he started, there's some donkey years. Seldom do people talk about that. Bill Gates, in between the day he broke through and became the famous Bill Gates and the day he did some crazy things like leaving school and going to programming or celebrated some donkey years. Some donkey years. All right. I hope I've answered. Michael, I've answered your question.
So we're gonna go to
Joe,
Joni next. So Michelle
Joe.
says success doesn't come without failure. Failure doesn't come without lessons. Life doesn't have a graduation ceremony. Just a death sentence that begins at birth. Oh,
That's very
Michelle,
that's very
beautifully,
deep.
beautifully said, right?
That's
It is
very
up
deep.
to us. It's up to us to decide our impact and contribution to the world. And
Absolutely.
I agree. I agree.
Absolutely. And I think the way to also look at it, see, the examinations of life have no timetable.
Mm.
And there's no registrar or regulator of the lessons of life. You are your lesson and your regulator. You are the one who determines, do you want to be a genius or not? Do you want to go through life with effect or not? Do you want to make results or not? It's all your choice and it's all in your hand. Thanks for that, Michelle. That's deep and sobering. Joe, how are you?
Another genius in my world, right?
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
What does Michelle say? Any argues what? The time topic, haha, for sure. But Dr. Vivian answers the question before I even mention it. The 10,000 hour rule to become
Yes,
perfect at anything, to become a genius at anything.
Yes.
and that's why it's a Gladwell's principle. We'll come
Yes,
back to
that's
that
it.
in a second.
Yeah.
Tony, you're on. You're next. Talk
Johnny,
to
Hi.
how
me.
are you?
Hi. What a wonderful topic. Goodness. I love it. I'm so glad I just kind of hopped back upstairs after being under my truck for the last hour. Some people may say the genius in me is that I'm just not afraid to just get my hands dirty and do different stuff. Because I'm like, who cares if I don't know how to fix a garbage disposal? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. But I really liked actually Michelle's quote. She's right here. It said, "I am fully spiritual, and my faith cannot be questioned." My exposure to the Bible was being at my lowest in the darkest times, and read that book read that book to find guidance and understanding and to seek help wherever it didn't exist around me in the physical world. And that's a really good reason to be spiritual, because I really get that feeling. I feel like sometimes I'm like David against like the world, and I'm just like, oh, like I just like a little stupid, woman who like I don't know how to do anything else, but I don't feel unhappy, and I will not let myself feel unhappy, even through a lot of bad shit's happened in my life. All right, so. And I will not let myself feel unhappy. And maybe that's my superpower, and I want to share it with the world. I also think that my constant, I don't know, just wanting to grow, wanting to continue to learn is such a gift. And I am glad I'm not stagnant. And that is a really important thing to me, to always try stuff out. Like, my muffler is like, kind of messed up, and I'm trying to fix it right now. And do I have automotive training? No, I do not. But I'm doing it. And did I know how to breed dogs and deliver puppies? No, I did not. But I did. Did I know how to start a business? No, I did not, but I did it. And I really hope that like some of like my positive motivation and really a strong respect for all human beings who are doing their best, I can be harnessed and loved in that way. And just wanted to tell you, great topic.
Thank you so much. You're doing amazing, Joe. By the way, you're doing very amazing. And thank you for your powerful contribution. At the end of the day, we all have genius within us, and it takes a while for the best of us to come out. Thank you for that contribution. You are a superhero any day. Thank you for showing up. You are an inspiration all the time. All the time. Thank you. Blessed be you and all yours. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. Thank you. Uh Annie, are you there? Michael, you have any comments? Any comments in the chat for us to look at? Joanne was
Okay.
amazing.
Let's okay. There's a burning question which is Joan is alluded to, and I
Okay.
think that Professor Roxana mentioned as well, and you've mentioned it passing, right?
Yeah.
I guess. Look, I don't know whether people are confusing genius with passion,
Okay.
because I think when you give your three your three legs, so to speak, your 3 points about what a genius looks and feels
Yeah.
like.
Yeah.
People think it's going to be easy. I don't think it is. I think
Mm.
there's more fundamental question, which is like what the question that we're asking today.
Mm.
How do you find your zone of genius?
Mm.
I think you find it by doing. You find it by doing. I talked recently about the craftsman's mentality. The
Mhm.
craftsman who would do anything to learn what to do from the master, ideally, but the craftsman will eventually become the master because they work hard at it for as long as it takes. Dr. Vivian mentioned 10,000 hours. Some people mention, 10,000 days. I'm saying literally, we don't just get this skill out of nowhere. For every skill we have, every bit of genius we have to work at it like a craftsman. Start at the bottom and work our way up. Yes, it may feel good. Yes, it may become easier the more we do it, as Michael mentioned. Yeah, but I think a lot of people want to find this thing, coach, that's basically gives them joy, makes them feel rich, makes them rich, and impacts the world, makes them the number one person, the Elon Musk of this world, without any effort at all. I think that's just plain wrong. I wonder what your take is.
So I was trying to clear my nose. Yeah. Annie, your apps. Apologies for that. You are 150% correct. In between your talentedness and the day you impact the world, there's a gap. That gap requires a lot of development and continuous tweaking. There's also the fact that even though you are talented a certain way, you don't know which part of your craft is going to make you superbly famous. You don't know the swing. You are an artist, you go to the studio every day, you swing. One swing, you find your master stroke. Even though you are talented at swinging your hand, you are going to get to the studio one day or to practice one day and find the capacity that will now link you to the world. And you never know what an audience will buy. You don't know the day the audience will feel so excited, they feel so happy and so powerful wanting to work with you. At the end of the day, genius is about productivity, and productivity takes energy. And that's why we start from energy. Remember, energy is the rate at which work is measured. Energy and work are linked concepts in physics. You cannot have energy. Of course, there is those energy at rest. There's kinetic energy, potential energy, but potential is a problem. You can lose it if you keep storing it. You got to move it into work. Energy is the unit of measurement, joules. It measures work done. So energy with no work done will kill the bearer. You must do work. You must serve your gifts or serve your genius to the world. Insist on it, and you must serve your genius to the world for result. You must. You must serve your genius to the world for result. You can be okay to live like Pablo Picasso, who lived very poor. And trust me, there are many artists or many genius persons I've met like that. With all due respect to them, God bless them. They do good work, bless their souls. But you cannot continue to be like that. You have children, you have life to live, you have house, you have everything. There's a lot to do. And why should you work? Or why should you have a genius or something that you have that the world needs and then you're not making impact with it? It doesn't, because you're enjoying it. No, it has to go beyond your enjoying it. And you have to, I mean, if you are a real genius, you have to hire an accountant. Let's say, you see, your genius, it starts with a talent, and then at that talent, you become a genius or some set of talents in quotes. Because it's effortless to you does not mean it's effortless to others, or it's a cheap thing you have. So what happens when you now have a large stadium that comes to watch you and they all bought tickets. You need an accountant, you need a bank manager, you need a customer service person. So not only do you need to be top notch and grow systems, now all of a sudden you are dealing with HR. So at some point when you succeed, and every success introduces you to another level of challenge. In the school of success, every success introduces you to another level of challenge. You succeed at this level, another one will come. At that level, another one will come. So new levels attract new devils, in quotes, a new demand of hard work. So you that you were just a footballer, all of a sudden you need a manager, you need insurance. If you're going to get insurance, you need an insurance broker. If you're going to get insurance broker, you need a bank advisor. All of a sudden, from this your gifts and genius, you now need other kind of talents and skill sets to grow.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
Massive important.
I think your genius must impact people. I didn't say the whole world. I said must impact people.
Yeah, and the
That's
higher the
why.
number of the higher the number of persons, the more the
Mm.
professionals you're going to start soon. You're going to soon you soon need them to help you manage.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean,
Yes. Yeah.
Annie, I know you don't need an accountant because you yourself,
I've got
if
one. I've always had one. I've always had one from day one. I
no,
started my business. I'll pay an accountant.
no, Annie, there's nothing the accountant will do that you're an accountant yourself.
Yes, but no, I'd rather hire an expert at accounting because I
that
don't
will
enjoy
help
doing,
you.
I don't enjoy doing it.
Agree.
There's things I enjoy doing, and I've designed a life that I like living. I love my days. I could have more rest, of course, but I love my days because I get to do what I love doing. But even then, it's taking me years to learn how to do what I do to make it easy. That's why I'm making a point. It's not going to be easy on day one. It's just not. Otherwise, it has no value. I think your point earlier as well, Coach. Almost, we want to be that indispensable person, that unique person amongst everyone. And sometimes maybe it's not about being unique. Maybe it's all about being able to do things your way that makes it better than what others do. I talk a lot about blue ocean thinking. Now, but essentially, they say we just need to find a point of difference that gives people a better solution than others. That's what makes it genius. Is when we can adapt our solution to help more people and help people better than others do. That's when we have a gift, a true gift. If we just do what others are doing, then the world doesn't really need us. And the trick is to find your way of doing things. Not just doing things, it's finding your way of doing that thing.
And I agree.
That's what makes the real difference. I like Michelle's questions. She wants to hear your thoughts on this. So if genius isn't rare, but the ability to activate it is, how much of that is due to conditioning versus actual limitations?
Yeah, I think the problem is not even conditional or actual limitations. The condition is not many people know. Yeah, you're right. Which type of conditioning? Many people don't know that there is a way to activate genius. You see, there's a system in most of the developed economies of the world where there are highest standard of living on the earth, in quote, that encourages you to work and pay tax and just go home, work, get mortgage, feed your children, go to school, let them go to school, and then you die off. It's a condition. I agree. But once you begin to think too high and too deep, there are systemic attacks that will come at you. Once you begin to ask questions like your genius zone, and you're too loud about it, there's something the system that wants to choke you up and remove you from that line of thinking. You're very correct. There's some conditioning going on. There is a system to ensure that the things you're doing are away from your genius zone and you never think about your genius zone. Although, what we say now in genius psychology or psychology of talent is look, bring your best to work. Meaning, find the tasks that resonate well with that genius part of you and begin to deploy it there, right where you are. Start being a star, start shining. Don't wait until you have necessarily good conditions. Apply that part of you to your job and use that as an advantage on your job. That's what we're saying now. That's the new thinking. Although this is theoretical, in real life may not be practicable that way. I mean, if you are someone that's a janitor and you want to be a surgeon or something, are you going to now put on white lab coat and be what in a
Oh,
complex stuff?
yeah, no, so no, but I think that there's a point here, coach, right?
Yeah, yeah,
The janitor has two choices, maybe more, but essentially the biggest choice is whether the genius is in being a janitor, in which case they need to find a way that makes their way of doing janitorial services unique, a way
absolutely.
that works better. Now, some will find better products, some will find a better process, a better machine,
Yeah,
to clean wherever they clean, right?
yeah,
I'm saying that the janitor who applies the time and the effort to create a unique solution
yeah,
will become a genius in their field.
yeah. I agree.
Right. Saying the issue that I see, and like Michelle was alluding to, is that people want to go and find a richer zone to work in, a more
Without
glamorous, more,
without
a more,
working, yeah, without
yeah.
working on their own genius to activate it. That's the
Mm.
point I was making. That is a conspiracy of the system to keep you working that way. I want to start thinking genius, then all hell.
Is
As
it
this,
is it conspiracy or is it us? Like, back to Michelle's point earlier. Is it that we choose not to find our point of genius, or is it because the world's really conspiring against us?
there's a conspiracy that's quiet, unsaid conspiracy. There's a system in place to ensure you never find your genius. By the time bills hit you, by the time you see tax, majority of of your ideology around genius will fly. You just go to work. You go and take shift or whatever you're doing.
But see, again, I think it's a choice we make or not, as the case may be, right?
Yes, but
So Michelle said,
there's some conditioning. There's some
mm.
conditioning making you make some choices and not go in one direction.
So how come the millionaires, the successful people, make the choice to live their
Or
genius?
they break the mental cycle.
Right.
They,
So
they
why can't the
see they
rest of us do
see
that?
no, because there's a system in place to ensure that you don't see. They see what others don't see. But there's a way to do. Number one, surround yourself, change your network,
Mm.
change your questions, change your network, change your questions, change your what ifs, change your paradigms. Go for training, capacity building, interact with higher minds. Make mindset tuning and growth a major part of your developmental plan.
Yeah.
It's very
and
important.
and and, and, pre- and prepared to work hard. Prepared to
Very
work
hard.
hard.
Very hard.
Very hard. Right. So I'm glad we
Very
agree on
hard.
that, coach. And the people who think your genius means that you work less and you can just chill. It's not
No, no,
gonna
no,
happen.
no, 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 no. You have to work
Joni,
hard.
you
Johnny, how
waved
are
your
you?
arm.
I wanted to just comment quickly on Michelle's really great comments.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't so long ago that young women, our parents' generation, were going to college to get their MRS degree. That was a term we all knew. And I don't know
Mm.
if you guys know this in different countries, but you just went to college to find a husband, and that's your degree to be a Mrs. And so when I think like there is like a differentiation between maybe how I have lived my life versus how my mom has, and she is not quite comfortable with that. That's okay, because that's how she grew up. That was the way all the decisions were made for her. And so I think that's like a great point, because so many decisions are made, especially for young women, still that it's hard to get out from under. And also, weirdly, Michelle, one of my friends is a janitor at a college, a local college. He is a very nice guy, and he has to support his family. Like, he's a single dad; he has them full time. And he told me he got an art degree, and I was like, "You got an art degree? Like, what? What?" Man, well, let me see some of your art. He's like, I don't display it. Like, I just haven't even, I packed that away, and like, look, came back the next day. I was like, here's a pencil. Here's a good quality piece of paper. I want you to do one picture for me. And his picture was, well, he did one of me, but he did a couple. And I was like, you have talent. You have amazing talent. And I just don't think, like, some people get stuck in that rut of being the janitor, whatever you may be, and not exploring the other creative sides of your life. And yeah, I showed his girlfriend because he did one of her too, and she was like, no. And they've been dating for like 2 years. And I was like, you didn't know he's an artist? He's an artist. And so I think it's really, it's something that you inside have to like push out, because no one really knows like what their true definition is unless they try it. So
I agree.
I agree
yeah.
fully.
It's an important point, Joni. It really is. This is what I'm trying to.
Or S to the no.
Joni, you're too funny. Coach, I'll bring you back up. Now, I think, Michelle's saying something similar. By the time we turn 10, millions of decisions have already been made for us, shaping our beliefs, opportunities, and even the way we see ourselves. How much we are is truly our own, and how much is simply the sum of choices we never had the power to make.
Michelle, thank you for that.
I can believe life can hold us in a bind. I get that. But I really think we need to learn to break free of that bind. We need to learn that we have a greater value, a greater calling. And, people not willing to do the work or to sacrifice to find their zone of genius, Coach. They wanted to come to them easily because Steve Jobs said that you could get it easily. Just find it, right? I don't think the systems are to blame. I think we're to blame. No, really, I truly do. I think we are to blame. Here's why I say that. Not because I want to beat people up. See, when I was a kid, my friends were like, let's go out. Let's go and have fun, Annie. I'm like, no, I got homework to do. Because I had a plan. My plan was simply get through schools the right way. Primary school, middle school, high school, university, masters, and then I can quit and live my life, right? My friends had a different idea. School? No. Don't be silly. I'm not going to school. University? No. I can have fun, and when I get older, I can claim benefits. So I can do nothing and still make money. They were wrong. Not the system. They refused to learn the realities of life. So even as we sit here now, many people are going to get caught out because by not living their genius, they're going to get old and find that, one, they've had a miserable existence just working, just earning basically basic money to pay tax on, as you mentioned earlier, Coach David. And then they'll get there and they'll say, oh, life was unfair. I was stuck in a job for God knows how long. And now I've got no pension, not enough pension to live the life I want to live. It's not the system, that's you. You made the choices. You made the choices not to recognize that you had to invest in yourself tremendously. You had to you had to find your zone of genius and impact the world with a skill that brings value to the world. You know, you can't blame the system for that. That's your choice. You know, see, the whole point of our conversation today, Coach, is to make people realize that they can move. They're not trees. We're not trees. We have to move, right? You know, if it's not working for you, what you're doing, what you're living, move. Go and find your energy and do that. The
And
money.
when people are saying that trees talk to each other, I'm sorry. It's out of there. It's out of there. Oh my
Okay, all right,
God.
okay. You are a tree, Joni. You're a tree.
No, I am not a tree. I am definitely not. I am the little worm under the tree creating the dirt that makes it healthy. But yes, a day.
No, I think though what you were saying about women and how the world has changed, Joni. I think that's important. Now, as you were talking, my thinking was many women created genius over generations of humans over the years. Even when we said women were all at home cooking and cleaning and looking after babies, right? So women, many chose to break free. Much like today, you and I, we can talk about the systems all we like. But like Coach David and I, we're here. Dr. Vivian's there in the audience. I'm saying there's many people from different backgrounds doing great things. So let's not blame the system. Let's take responsibility. It's on us to discover our zone of genius and live it. That's my personal take. Coach, what's your point of view?
100% spot on. 100%, I agree with you. Hello, can you hear me?
Do you want me to show the third video?
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Okay, I can show the third video.
Yes, I agree with you, by the way, on the points you made, Annie. I agree. This genius is yours and is yours to use, yours alone. Everyone should pay attention to their genius zone and take advantage of it. It's your gift, it's not going to be forever because your life that's hosting is going to end one day. So why don't you give your best to the world before it ends?
Yeah, I agree. Let's watch the video, then we can wrap up, my friend. Let's watch the video.
Okay.
Imagine waking up every day and knowing exactly what to do, where to focus, and how to create results without stress, without struggle, without burnout. Sounds impossible? It's not. Because I have observed that every genius, every high achiever, every person who seems to effortlessly win is following a blueprint, whether they realize it or not, and you need one too. From my observations and personal research, here's how to find your genius blueprint. Step 1. Decode your pattern. Genius leaves clues. What are the things you've always been drawn to? What energizes you effortlessly? What do people naturally seek your help for? These aren't random. They're signals pointing to your genius. Step 2. Discover your leverage point. Not all work creates the same impact. Some actions give you 10 times results with the same effort. The key to sustainable success isn't working harder. It's knowing where your smallest action creates the biggest ripple effect. Step 3. Design your life around it. Most people build their lives based on survival, not strategy. But the real game is aligning everything, your work, your habits, your relationships, around what amplifies your genius. The more aligned you are, the less effort it takes to create massive impact. Coach David Adeoye says, the world doesn't need another hardworking person, it needs a highly strategic genius. Are you ready to be that person? Reach out to me, David Adeoye, now. Let's design your genius blueprint.
Tell them, Coach, tell them.
I mean, the video is actually very clear, and this you can play it again later. Everyone can play it again later. At the end of the day, you have only one life to live, not two. It's your job to find your zone of genius. It's your job, and you can actually do it. People have done it before. You should have your own processes and how you intend to make genius. You can't afford to be lax with it. You can't afford to push it or outsource it. It's yours. It's you. That's your life. That's your career. And there's some pointers in the video. That's what I was trying to look for in the presentation. Let me just quickly share the last slide, just share with you the factors for being genius. You need to work and become those factors. All right. These are the factors for genius. Just a minute. The factors for genius. I'm looking for the. Can everyone see my screen?
No. Let me put you on screen first. There you go. And now we can see your screen. So if you do present, and then let's go to your slide.
Okay. So number one, decode your pattern. Identify your natural inclinations. We said a lot about this. Number two, what's your leverage point? What are the things you do when things are really tough? What are the things that are the game changer? Anytime you do it, it's a leverage. It's as if you are standing on an advantage level. And number three, design your life around those two things. Your pattern and your leverage depend on how right. I mean, work hard in building a solid tie between those two, and then design your life around those two. That's all you need. You are there already. It's not rocket science. And by the time you do it, it's very intensive architectural or architectural work. This is the blueprint, and this is the only way to go about it. And then begin to act on what you see when you put these three documents together, and you really be fine in terms of living as a genius. Yeah, that ends my present. I still have some other points, but that ends the presentation for today. The videos are going to be available on my wall, and the presentation.
Oh, no, I've lost you. Where have I lost you?
Just a little internet glitch.
Yes, something's gone wrong.
Background.
Patience, Joni. Patience, my friend.
Rick's background. Oh,
let's
it's
hope
a classic. It's a classic. He did such a good job today. He really did.
Soon we'll be saying it about you, Joni. They were saying about you soon enough. But when we start doing your show,
I am really proud of him. Well, that sounds condescending. I really valued what he had to say.
Yeah, no, I think it's an important.
On my truck more.
I mean, it's an important conversation that we need to have.
Yeah.
You know, I like conversations like this because I think those who discover their genius live a happier life, more impactful life, and hell, you can even get richer.
Sometimes geniuses can be a little tortured.
Because it's normally when they don't live. It's normally when they don't live their genius. It's normally when they try to hide away and hide behind, hide behind the screen, I suppose, and they're there but they're not there.
Yeah, I really have learned over my lifetime. Like, I'm an extrovert, but plenty of people take solace in being an introvert, and so it may be harder to just like go out and buy a motorcycle. That would be a weird thing for one of my sisters to do, but for me, no. And so I really do think that I to each their own, and I do hope people have enough kind of chutzpah in themselves to get where they need to go and not rely on other people's dreams, like your parents.
No, I think it is
that your kids with your dreams. Use them for yourself.
I think it's finding the wherewithal to go and implement your genius. So I like what Michelle says. Michelle said the systems are built knowing our superpower is simply that. It's a power. That's why we raise those chasing dreams that will barely become stable jobs to sustain life.
I love it too.
You know that saying, if you knock on the door, no one opens the door, then make your own door.
Yeah.
That's my take.
It's kind of what you're saying, but it is a power. And It's like my only wish is that people really recognize that sense of like true empathy for themselves in their lifetime, because that's such a great feeling. Like when you're just like, I'm cool with who I am. And believe me, guys, I was not always cool with who I am. I was not. I went to throw the fanciest dinner parties and blah blah blah.
You
And so
still do. You still do, Joni.
I mean, really, I don't. Really, I really don't. I mean, like, I throw like gaming parties that are like real nerdy, that are like Caracasson, and it's fun though. I like it. And so I've embraced my inner nerd, and that's good.
Or you're just living your genius as a parent.
Yeah, I hope so. And you know what? Sometimes my kids get embarrassed. Because like I'm pretty outspoken, and that can be hard. And so I do have to reel myself back a little bit just to respect their boundaries, because they're kids. And I have really, my oldest is an introvert. And you know, I have learned that she likes to process things in her own time. And that's okay. And so plenty of people in this world are introverts, and they don't want to speak on the screen like you and I. And we're just like out here sharing details about our life.
I'll tell you anything, well, within reason. I think that again, Coach David, there's a point there. I think, I wonder if you want to comment on. Is again, people think we must have one thing, and I guess I know from experience that through life we can have different geniuses, different zones of genius that we live. And we haven't got to live all our zones. Now, some of our zones of genius, as I said earlier, is just a hobby. If it's not going to have an impact on the world, then why bother? Me playing football, for example, I'm saying I couldn't be bothered after a while, and I just didn't want to run around that much. I just didn't fancy running around like a fool, right? That's why I stopped playing football. I thought that was my thing. I thought that was my zone of genius. It was for a few years. Once I got to semi-pro, and I was like, all that running? No, I'm going to school, and I'll stay at school, thanks. But I think, please say something about how the reality that your zone of genius can change.
Yes, you can develop and grow new zones of genius. You can develop and grow secondary zones of genius. But the original one remains there, but you can grow, you can develop, you can engineer it. Yes, you can. But the original one, and even the new things you're going to engineer, there's something inside the original genius zone that you have that will be fueling the new one. There's something.
Well, that's career capital. I call it career capital. Where you have skills that will help you in your next area.
Yeah, it can be ordinary.
I think he's right. David, Coach David, I do think you're right. There's something innate to who you are. You're born with it. And so some people are born with, athleticism, or the ability to talk to whoever, or be funny, or be really intricate in their planning. And I do see that, because I have 3 children that are so different, and they all came from me. They came from me, and they're so different. So I really do think there is something to be said that some of your superpowers you're born with. And I agree with Ramos saying that, sometimes they're like pushed down, especially for young women. And I don't know if that's necessarily the case anymore, but I feel that way. So I'm happy to have the conversation. That's it.
Yeah, you know, again, for me, I think the lesson is don't squash other people's dreams.
Is
Yeah,
that the lesson, Annie?
you know, for
That
me, yes. No,
it's
for me,
like,
that's a lesson I
it's
take
reading
away.
rainbow.
No, there were times when I used to,
Reading
you know,
rainbow.
when someone comes to me and says, I want to do this, right?
You
Whichever-
did not get that. You didn't
no,
get it, did
I
you?
leave that. No,
You
if
get reading
someone's
rainbow. Please, someone tell me you got reading rainbow. All right.
like,
The
if someone
lesson of
says,
the day.
listen. If someone says to me, I want to do X today, I'll say, yeah, why not? So there's a time when I used to say, are you sure you can do that? Is it possible? Is it useful? What's the point? You know, and I said one day my wife said to me, stop killing the kids' dreams. That's what I had to learn, to stop being judgmental on other people's genius. If that's your zone of genius, I said I will happily just accept what you tell me, and I'll do my best to support you if you want my support to live out your genius. If you don't want my support, I would just happily let you be. And so we'll see what becomes of you. Coach, please feel free.
Yeah. At the end of the day, your work is to serve your best gift to your world. And like we said, decode your pattern, discover your leverage points, and design your life around those two items. Look at scenarios where they exist. Number one, decode your pattern. Number two, discover your leverage points. Decode your pattern, leverage point. So pattern multiplied by how many places you can leverage it is the real key to value delivery on a larger scale in the delivery of your genius zone. Excuse me. So I'll take questions now. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll do the other stuff. Thanks, Johnny, for your contribution, and thanks, Emmy, for your mighty, awesome contributions. I'll take all the materials behind the scenes and we circulate them on the wall, on my own wall, and everyone will have access to them. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Coach. I think we've got one more. What's today? Today is 20th, so we've got 2 more weeks. So one more of these events, and then your
launch coming here. Yes.
I'm excited for you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm excited too. Thank you so much.
Joni, no one gets your sarcasm, Joni. We just find you funny.
But isn't that the point? The point is that jokes resonate with me, and then even if you don't get them, you're like, that girl's kind of funny. Interesting. She has something going on up there. At least I have a smile on my face most of the time.
This is good. Annie, you're muted, Annie. Unmute, Annie, you're muted.
I'm better muted sometimes. I can share my genius with myself. Like my friends, the Coach David, you have a lot of comments to respond to.
I will.
So, I say, my friend, go find your point of genius, find your genius skills, find your genius, your passion.
Yeah.
Find the thing that truly is your gift, and when you find it, run with it. Run very hard with it.
Mm-hmm.
Even if it looks like you're making no money at the beginning, in time, there's I guess I tend to live by a few sayings. One is that you have to become that person you mentioned earlier, Coach David, that person that's indispensable. One of the very best thing, whatever you do. When you do that, they call you a genius. But you have to become that person who's willing to do the hard work,
the hard work, the heavy lifting.
Yes, which can take years. But
yes,
find that thing that's going to make you indispensable, make you truly unique.
Well, and Coach David, let me tell you, I have been doing LinkedIn. I've these podcasts for a couple of years now, and the people I remember are the people that I are have some genius comments, but also are kind and have this
Mm,
like soul that comes through. And that's why I have a full list of all of my good friends that I really value. And that's a form of genius. When you can
yes,
let yourself be
yes,
you and
yes. I agree. I agree. Being kind and being very humane, being a warm, genuine, authentic person is something that could be a zone of genius. And we need many of them in the world today, not just the high talented thingy, because there are many talented people that are very wicked. What I was telling Annie the other day, the new thing is that wicked people now cover their wickedness by accusing good people and giving them what you call what's that stuff now? Imposter syndrome.
yeah,
When you make someone look less competent because you are the incompetent person, and there are many of them like that. Any and I had a long conversation. There's also the part that for a genius you'll be misunderstood in your journey. There'll be
yeah.
some misunderstanding. There'll be some, but the humility. And let me say it by the way, I don't think if you're not
Well, and
kind,
it's also
you
like
can be a genius.
gaslighting, right?
I don't think if
Gaslighting,
you're not kind, yeah, if
that's
you're not kind,
another term.
yeah,
Yeah,
Gaslight,
I agree. And gaslighting,
like that
that's
thing. Yes,
like
yes,
where
yes,
they're like when it make you feel like you're just like not worthy of it.
yes, 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 yes,
And
and yes, and there are people who I've met even recently on LinkedIn who are the gaslighters. Then they gaslight you.
mm,
People now call self-confidence ego. When you
mm,
are confident, they say you are egoistic. People come when you are too happy or too excited, then they feel you're not serious. And because they are like that, they want to condition you,
mm.
and they'll lie against you, do use subterfuge, all to put you, and they know you're a kind person. And so because you're a kind person, you want to respond to those kind of signals, and then they weaponize your kindness against you. It's a popular move nowadays. The other thing is, I don't think you can be a genius if you're not kind. The
I don't
reason is because you have to care enough to want to contribute value to someone.
Yes,
You
I
have
agree.
you have to be kind to want to use your gift to serve someone
Yes.
before we can eventually call you a
well, and
genius.
also you're okay with who you are. So that you don't have to be an egomaniac to be okay with who you are. You
Thank
can
you.
actually be a person who's just like F it. Like I am me, and that's how it's gonna be. And
And
find a great talent.
you don't know how spot on you are. That is amazingly spot on. The other thing I want to tell you is that many people don't know that the word ego is not negative. The
I
word
know.
ego, the word ego actually means positive self-esteem. And many people use it loosely. Ego is the problem. You are too egoistic. You're egotistic. You're egoistic. The dictionary says ego. You don't want egoless people around you.
Mm,
Egoless people lack self-esteem.
mm,
They're going to make mistakes on you. Your doctor cannot be an egoless person. Ego is
mm.
a sense of personal self-belief.
Yes.
The one that is negative, excuse me, that they refer to is when you have proper pride.
Mm,
The other thing is that proud people recognize proud people. When you speak confidently, they say you are proud. The last thing I like to say, when they've done you hurt or harm and you refuse to be hurt again, they say you are unforgiving. Okay, then you forgive them and bring them close. Then they come and hurt you again because they want to kill the light of your genius.
mm,
You have to know how to protect, despite being kind as a genius and being warm like you, Joe, now. You have to know how to protect your genius.
Mm.
Otherwise, they're going to snipe at you with all those things. You're not kind, you're not gentle, you're not
Mm.
this, you're not that. Meanwhile, that's who they are. They're trying to read it up on you. So I agree with you fully that a
Mm.
genius must be kind and also demand kindness and call out
Yeah.
all these behavioral patterns.
I think the kindness, it starts with kindness to yourself. You have to
Yep,
truly love yourself
It is.
yep,
That I
and,
feel like every
stay humble.
therapist
Stay
says,
humble.
yep,
stay
yep.
humble. Just
Mm.
be kind to yourself. Just don't
Yeah.
overthink it. And
Mm.
you know, if you're going through a hard time, which believe me, I've been there too. Okay, you can call me if you're going through a hard time. I'll just like listen. I'll be like,
Mm.
why don't you get a cup of tea and a cookie?
Cool coach instead. He wants to hear your bad luck stories. I don't hear.
Oh gosh, I have many. I have many, many. But it's like no one wants to be thought of as like for the character in Harry Potter, Moaning Myrtle.
Mm-hmm. No
And
one likes the Amanda Murder
it's
at all.
like, oh, woe is me. And
Trauma
no one
drama.
wants that. And so
Yeah.
it's really the phrase "fake it till you make it" or "smile and wave." It it actually has some truth to it. So if you are interested in something, like put a smile on your face and try. If it doesn't
Mm.
work out, like, oh well, who cares? You tried. That's awesome. And you're enhancing your own genius, I would
Mm.
think, by just trying.
Yeah, and I think as Jay says, if you love what you do, it becomes your purpose and no longer your job. That's when
Yep.
you really have fun and you can turn it into a genius, into an expertise. And Jeremy says, when you think you're great and you are, but then find greater, some will stand in amazement instead of seeing an opportunity to become even greater.
Yep.
Good point, Jeremy. I appreciate learning from all of you. Thank you so much, Jeremy. We learn from you as well, my friend. A lot of people think it's for others. Is a point I think Jeremy's making. It's for others to have, the gift that we don't have. And you mentioned confidence there in a minute ago, Coach. Jeremy says, I've been rebuilding my confidence back up.
You
Hope
did
you're
good. Doing really good.
Yeah.
Yes, confidence. Woo! I was never a cheerleader, so do not take that the wrong way. Okay? I was a sports girl, but
Yeah, I was never a cheerleader either. I think having the confidence to do what you do, and if you see the light, if you see the impact, if you see the joy of what you do it. Hopefully it's not. I could say hopefully the world will agree with you. Think of Picasso. He said, eventually, the world agrees he is a great artist, right? But so yes, it's after he died, but I'd say that's what he wanted. That's what he worked towards.
and most importantly, you will agree with you. Your
Mm.
mind will fall into sync and not feel that stress of what am I going to do with my life? I hate this job. I hate reporting to this manager and whatever. But I do think that is important so that you can just be your best version of yourself.
Yeah, I agree. Michael, you've come back up. What do you want to leave us with, Michael? Do you want to leave us anything, Michael? I don't know. You're still muted.
Yeah. Be the best version of yourself. Money isn't everything. It's not. It's not nothing, but you can live without it. You can do without it. You can have an awesome life without it. You do not have to pursue it from one end to the next end, like as if it's all that you got. No, interests that you have in yourself and the joy that you bring within yourself is very important because it is that which other people will see in you and other people will find joy as a result. You'll be able to share happiness, pure, unadulterated, genius happiness. That's what this is all about.
I think that's easy to say, Michael, and I think it's a. I don't agree, basically, but I don't agree with you
Yeah.
because I think it's a.
Okay, Nigerian.
I will tell you why
Guess
I
what?
don't agree with you. I think
Guess what?
it is an easy,
Guess what,
cheap
Annie?
way to live. It's
I
a get back.
It's a happy way to live. Do you know, I had a
It's not really. It's not
2024
really.
Mercedes, and now I'm back down to a
and it
Dodge
doesn't
Ram
necessarily have
pickup
to be
truck.
cheap.
I love it. Not about money.
It's
There
not
you
about
go.
money now, but
I mean,
but money can give you so much opportunity, so
It's
many
all about
options.
happiness.
happiness.
Yeah, look, I'll leave you with two. Take it or leave it, right? Steve Jobs. You might think that he just had a brain for Apple. I'll tell you what he
Any
did differently. Listen, I'll tell you what he did
no
differently to everyone else. What Steve Jobs did,
money will not give you opportunity.
what,
It gives you all the
what Steve Jobs did, Michael, was get investment to turn Apple from Apple 1 to Apple 2. Without that 250 grand investment, Apple will never become what it become. It's not about money. It's about funding your genius. It's about making that more impactful for other people. Money can help you do that. You can pretend it doesn't, but it does. Again, Elon Musk, is it about money? No. But has he become the richest man in the world? Yes. It's not about money. It's about doing and what he wants to do and following his dream. But money is not the bad thing, Michael. Money is almost a reward.
Well, I think
for your value.
You can
but it
be
never
like
brought him
buying sneakers that are $1,000.
at the end of the
That's
day,
ridiculous.
it never brought him happiness.
He made Apple and he brought Elon Musk happiness.
Yeah, and is Elon
Having money is not a crime.
Lonely.
And having money is not a
I
crime.
agree. Michael, I agree.
Who's lonely? Elon Musk or
I
Steve Jobs?
Really? Do you think
and I,
cozying
we are
up
not
to
going
next
to meet on this end, but
you want to cozy up next to your partner, your life partner, not some 19-year-old model? Sorry.
Who was a 19-year-old model? That's not part of it.
Not this girl. I don't want her.
That's not what money is there for.
But that's what it brings. That's what it brings, some sort of like a sense of entitlement and a sense of like you're above other people. And I dislike that quality in people. So you put it out there.
So to be successful in your eyes, Joni and Michael, you must be poor. That's a dumb thing to say, surely.
No, I think if you can have
dumb, right?
a smile on your face, you can get up and do 50 push-ups, and you can have your dogs waiting with big, happy smiles. And yes, there we go. That is happiness.
If you impact
also makes
Michael, we've lost your sound. If you impact the world, as Coach David said, point number 3 in this diagram, they will pay you. I promise you. Now, there's no point you saying I don't want to get paid, because that's just you denying the reality and denying the value that you're giving. What's the point of that? Really? What's the point of denying the value that you're giving and the world says, okay, we're happy to pay you for it? Yeah, there's never an argument about money. Money is not a problem. Those who are obsessed with it, they have a problem, yes. Other people who rightly get money for the value they give, there's nothing wrong with it. I'll never agree with you that
Yes,
money's a
I'm
problem. Money's not a
like,
problem.
do you want your
Uh,
kids to like understand that? Like, you want your kids to be like, yo, I'm going to private school. I am going to Cambridge. It's all on daddy's bill. I
Yes,
don't think that.
nothing wrong
I
with
don't
that.
and
There's nothing wrong with that.
I
Nothing wrong with that
don't
whatsoever.
really agree
I
with
like
that,
to.
but it's okay. It's okay. We're getting off topic, and really all we wanted to do was highlight Coach David, who was just brought up a really wonderful idea. And so,
Hi, Doctor. Oh, I call you dentist anyway. So, dentist, how are you doing? I'm glad you're here. And Dr. I Fortune is here with us. Thank you for joining us,
Thank you for
Coach.
joining us. Yeah.
Stop
My
us fighting.
what do you say?
Stop us
oh,
fighting.
Eddie, can I actually just say
because
to the audience?
I need to go into another meeting in another
Mm.
7 minutes.
Yes, of course,
I need
yeah.
to prepare for that. But thank you, Johnny and Michael.
I have one more thing to tell you guys. Before
Okay.
we disbarred, I have picked up gigs doing technical writing. It was so easy. If like literally, I make $200 a day. And all I have to do is write a paragraph about some boring product. And it's really there is so many like side gigs out there. If you're struggling and you're a writer, you can do it because I hustle to the hustle. And so it's just an interesting thing that I happened upon. So if anyone is interested, I can tell you the information on how to become a technical writer, or whatever is interesting to you.
Wow.
Get in touch with Joni.
Everyone
Coach, where's
get in touch.
Coach, where's the book?
Which one? The one we are launching
Yeah, book 3.
is here, right beside my desk.
Okay, you have to show them, right?
Yes, this is the book.
There you go. Move it around. Yeah, there you go.
That's the book. But we're launching that on the 4th of
Yeah,
April.
4th of April. So
And
do join us, my friend.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm excited. We've done well. So we've got one more of these events next week, and
Yes.
then our book launch. So do join us.
Yeah.
Do join us.
Well, I'll definitely buy it, Coach David, even if the brick is eating your book.
The book is fine. The coach has to go, my
I
friend.
have to
Coach has
make
to
you guys
go.
laugh a little bit.
Coach must go, so we have to let him go. Look, connect. Go to comments page or events page, comment section, and connect there, and book a call with Coach David. Get to meet him properly.
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Michael, Johnny, and Emmy. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Everyone in the audience, thank you for joining us, and those who spoke as well. So, Professor Roxana, so Michelle, thank you so much.
She's success with Global.Media.com and celebrate it with or without champagne or rum. She's success with Global.Media.